Welcome, welcome. Oh my gosh, you see Zyla, she had to make her appearance. Um, Welcome. I haven't been live on YouTube for like a whole year, pretty much at this point, which is kind of wild to me. Um, I was doing chakra checkups. Oh, wait, first, hey, my name. I'm Ashante. This is Embodied Spirituality. Um, well, we're going to talk about some real things and trying to come back into and practicing coming back into alignment with ourselves, right? Um, so I used to do chakra checkups, which I thought was like the dopest concept in the world, right? And um, and even people started to get more into like pulling cards around chakras. I said, ain't nobody was doing that, but um, kind of fell off because I was going through some life things, to be honest, and um, it brought into question a lot of things that was going on, and even how I was doing things. And I still rock with cards, but I needed to reevaluate um, due to the current circumstance that I was in and everything was going on. So there's that. Um, but I also learned some things about myself, in that I feel as if, sometimes a lot of intuitives, we use cards as a means of a mask to hide ourselves behind, like the divine intuition that we get to speak about certain things. Because, to have free will and say what you want to say, people are going to be, say what they want to say and be like, how do you know? What's your expertise? And I also think that it's like, okay, well, if you don't pull cards, then you have to be that person that's like, here's my prophetic word. And I'm just like, what's the in between? Like, what's the in between where you can just speak, and if it resonates with people, if it changes people's lives for the better, then you're doing something good. And isn't that divine? you know? So, anyways, that's why I'm here today. I wanted to have a conversation. I've been really feeling like pulled to want to go live, but I've also been in a space of like, well, what am I going to do? Like, what's the plan? Um, before it was like I had this schedule, very Capricorny. I had this schedule, I'm doing this at this time, and I was pretty consistent for a while. Um, longer than what longer than what I thought I would have been, considering the challenge that I went through. But like I've been thinking that, you know, I need to talk. There's things that need to be said, um, and for whatever that means, this is what this is for. So, right. So today, as you can see from the title, and I'm gonna be all nervous, so I'm gonna be jumbling all over my words, but human, right? Um, so the title, Breaking Up with Complacency, right? Okay, let's sit with that for a second. Breaking up with complacency. I think a lot of times, me included, obviously, because of the subject matter, um, and how I'm approaching this, it's easy to be okay with being within your comfort zone. Like you get like, okay, this is my daily habit. This is how I'm gonna do it. Or um, like I don't need to reach for the stars. I reached for the moon and I got it, and that's enough. I don't need more than that. Or Like I've succeeded in these areas and that's enough. Or maybe you haven't, or you don't feel like you've succeeded in a lot of places and you're just okay with being unhappy with your circumstances, right? And we all get like that, you know. I have been that way before. I am that way now when it comes to certain things, and that's why I'm here talking about what I'm practicing right now, or my, current focus. But um, if you want to move beyond that, if you want to grow and go to the next level, and elevate yourself and be of a different status or a different, regard, just even within yourself. Um, and then sometimes in reflection to the world, um, you have to shed some things, right? And you also have to get out of feeling like what you have is all that you need. You have all that you need, but you have the ability to get more and to have more. And if it's something that you want, that's something that you should be going towards. But to do that, you have to get out of your comfort zone. Um, and to get out of your comfort zone, you have to break up with complacency, right? So, um, one of the first things that you have to do, or not do, this is, whatever. This is my journey. The first thing that I had to do to get back into this practice, right? Or how I did it before was recalling where I did it before, right? So losing the 90 pounds, that was like a big thing for me. So at this point in my life, 2022 Ashante, is looking back to that progress and how I've done it before and how I was able to succeed where I've gotten to where I wanted to getting to where I wanted to, you know. And it was a literal breaking up with complacency, like breaking up with, you know, being too tired to work out, or breaking up with the fear of, you know, working out in front of people, right? Stretching in front of people, break. So, me going back to that point of thinking about when I did lose the weight, or the progress and the journey of me losing weight, I understood that this has to be like a consistent practice, and not just a daily practice, but a moment to moment practice, right? Um, and I was like, oh man, like if I really want this thing that I'm looking towards, like I have to be moment to moment about my intentions, for what I want. And that is what I've been practicing. So these last couple of days. So today, sorry, I just want to check something. The other thing I want to say before I get into like what this day was like, and just like the learning process of breaking up with complacency, even just on today, was how in a lot of ways for me, this breaking up with complacency journey, because specifically when I come up with this idea, it was around finances, like breaking up with the complacency of like paying my bills is good enough, you know, having a little extra to do a little extra is good enough, right? Versus like, no, I want more so I can do more, invest more, play more, share more, like all of those things, right? Um, and so I have a lot of work to do around that and just like my beliefs around money and whatnot. But I also had to get to a point of like breaking up with the complacency of not doing the work, right? It's easy to know that you need to do the work. Like, oh yeah, I have to deal with these things with my finances. I have to. But it's like you never really do it because you're just so busy thinking about how much you have to do it and not doing it. So I'm like, no, let me actually sit down and do some of the work. Like, let me actually sit down and kind of look at it. Let me, peek, let's go through. Because I've done work around money beliefs before. Like, I don't think that I would be as abundant as I am if I hadn't, too. I'm blessed beyond all measure. But I also believe that, like, this is not something that I always used to feel. So to even feel that in this space, I know that I've done the work, you know? Um, but let's step into the next level, right? And that's kind of what this whole thing is about, breaking up with complacency, step into the next level, right? So, anyways, it was originally about finances. But then as I was thinking about it even more, I was realizing how some of that is connected to relationships, even, or people and how you connect with people, like being complacent with, being the woman or the more passive person in the relationship, um, which will get me into the day. All right. Um, so, and it's a moment to moment practice. So, I'm going to share how today has been a moment to moment practice, real life. Okay. So, boom. Yesterday, I was in my feels, I'm on my moon cycle. I haven't heard from this guy that I was talking to, and it's been a while, so, and I care about him. So that's, the people, right? Relationships, right? You don't have to be all up in my business. But yesterday I was really feeling some type of way about it. Like most days I'm like, I can keep busy. I'm a Capricorn. Like I can keep busy, do my work, focus. But it's like the moments where I do have a little downtime. I do have a moment to myself or, a 5-minute breather. Like my mind goes to that person. And I was just like, ugh, I'm tired of this. Like I'm tired of this. Right. Like, and now I can't keep distracting myself with work because I'm just like, ugh, let's play pretend. Let's keep pretending that work is all I need right now. And yeah, so yesterday I was just like not feeling it and I needed the rest. And so I was just like, yesterday was just about getting through yesterday. Like, please, like, tomorrow it'll be better. Tomorrow it'll be better. Tomorrow it'll be better. Right? Like, this is just a day. This is just a moment. This is a blip. Woke up this morning. I still feel the icks. I was like, ugh, I still feel weird about it. And I'm just like tired of being in this place, right? Of complacency, of waiting for them to message me first. Why? It's been long enough, bro. I'm going to break the silence. If nothing comes from that, there's something, then that's saying something. But preferably, I say something, he says something back. And this just kind of gets things back on track a little bit. But in any regard, whichever way it goes. I just didn't want to feel like gross. I was just like, I even journaled about it. I was like, oh, I got to do this whole like, okay, work, just focus on work and you'll be all right. Like, no. I've been super productive. Great, thank you. But today, like yesterday, I felt like I couldn't be as productive as I wanted to be because it was kind of weighing me down. And today I was like, I don't have the time for this shit to stop weighing, to weigh me down to where I'm not taking care of the things that I want to at the rate at which I want to accomplish them, right? So after writing in my journal for a few minutes, I was just like, look, I just want to break the silence. And even if it's just to say his name, right? So fast forward, I sent him a text message. We've started to communicate again, right? And we'll see how that goes. But that was a big shift in my day, in the weight that I felt like I had on my shoulders, because I broke up with the complacency of waiting to hear from somebody else. Like, you do not need to be this person where you are just waiting. If you need an answer, go to the source. So then um, I felt so much lighter. Like, even before I knew that he responded, like, I felt so much lighter. Like, I was like, all right. I got ready to go to work out, right? Um, Kind of getting my food together, trying to like navigate now how I feel now that my body's like getting back into alignment. I was like, all right, I can think. And so I get out of the house to go and skate, and I'm like, I leave, but I'm a little later than what I thought I was, and that I really wanted to be, because then I was only gonna get like something like south of 45 minutes of skating, right? Kind of like 30 minutes by the time that I would get there and get my skates on or warm up my body a little bit to get my skates on. And I was just like, I want to skate, but I don't want to spend like, I don't want to just skate for a half an hour. Like, that's a lot of work for a half an hour. So my body kept being like, go to the lake, go to the lake. So I was like, all right, cool, cool. Like, let me just go to the lake and maybe I'll go and work out there. Like, I have my workout clothes on. All I need to do is like put my purse away. And so I get to the lake and I like take my time, like, breathe and meditate. And I had seen that I got no response from him. That helped. Um, but all in all, I started to think about, one, I felt like I needed the time to sit by the water. Two, I had ideas about a new set or a series of bracelets that I'm going to do, which I'm really excited about. And I'll announce that maybe on the next live. And then by the time that I got really excited about like the bracelets and stepping forward, I was like, okay, well, how am I going to work out? Because it's getting hotter outside. What do you want to do? Whatever you need to do, you need to make a choice. So I was like, all right, cool. And I was like, well, let's go to the rink. I do want to skate. It's just going to be the later session, and I'm going to see these people, right? And I like to like on my Thursday practice, I like to keep my skating to myself a little bit, so I can just like hone in on my skills versus like all the other things that I have to think about when I'm working at my own rink. And so I go to the rink, and first people that I see once I like walk in all the way is the people that I expected to see. And I gave them a hug and all that stuff. And then 2 seconds later, the gentleman, he asked me to give his sister a lesson, like his older sister or sister a lesson. She's also like in her senior years, right? In her retirement years. That's what we should call it. Um, and she's in her retirement years. And so, like, he handed me some cash. And I was just like, dope. I was like, cool. Wasn't even planning on making money from the rink today. Like, but I did. Dope. Money falling from the sky. Dope. Breaking up with the complacency of timing, right? Like trying to force things, right? Because if I would have forced it and not skated on that second session or the later session, I wouldn't have made that $60. Um, and so, and even I was like, okay, now I get the whole session and I have time to skate for myself and work with somebody. Like, how cool, great. Skate, work with her, right? Work with his sister, the gentleman's sister, the lady. Um, I worked with her and it was really nice, but it only lasted like 15 minutes, but it was really good. I love working with different levels and I do like working with adult beginners a lot too, I think. Like I like all the levels, honestly, because I like the challenge, but it's nice working with older people too and really thinking about the functions of skating and like how things break down, like the small things. So it makes me feel good. Makes me feel good. But yeah, I only ended up working with her for 15, max 20 minutes. Got to skate for myself. I worked on the jumps that I needed to work on. This one particular jump, which is also another level of breaking up complacency. So I'm going to be rambling. This is what this is. So another space where I'm breaking up with complacency is like my athleticism slash like what I think I can do when it comes to ice skating. Um, and there's this jump that's been like the first word that came up is plaguing me for some years now, like over 10 plus years. Like I keep coming back to it, then I don't practice it, then life happens, and then I practice it for like 2 weeks, and then life happens or something, or I just like get afraid and like doing it at the ice rink that I work at. It's just like I guess intimidating, but it's like yeah, maybe it's not intimidating because I'm intimidated by other people. It's more so I don't want them to see me practicing things that I feel like I should be able to do. That's what it comes down to. Like everything else above this one particular jump, I'm like, oh, sure, fine, I'll practice that at the rink, no problem, right? And fall and whatnot. But this jump, I feel like I should have that. Like, I feel like I should have that. And although it may not be easy for people to understand, like, just go for it, blah, blah, blah. That's what I'm practicing, number one. But sometimes I have to do that on my own, say so, on my own level. So, um, and again, it came back to what's an example of me doing that, right? This was just the jump version of something that I've already needed to overcome in skating before. So about 3 or 4 years ago, there was this move test, like one of the last things that I was doing before I stopped skating when I was in my late teens. And before I started back, like working at the rink and picking up skating again, I was working on this one moves test, right? Moves in the field test. And it's like the second level, bro. Like seriously. But I was so, edge work was not my thing. I wish I could tell y'all, edge work was not my thing at all. I was like, oh, this is for the birds. Give me a jump and spin any day. Like, but you needed, like, for skating, you have to be able to do the moves in the field before you can take the free skate test and the USFSA track. And so I had come back to it even when I started back at the rink, or when I started to work at the rink that I'm at now. And got close to being ready for that, and then stopped being able to like work with a private coach, like school, expenses, all of that stuff, right? Years pass, right? So, and this is about 4 years ago. I'm like, bro, I gotta get over this test. This test has been like plaguing me. Like, that's what I felt like. The test had been plaguing me. Like, I keep coming back to it and I am not breaking through the ceiling. Like, I keep coming back to it and I'm not breaking through the ceiling. And I was like, bro, I have to be committed to this, right? So I work with this coach, right, at the time. And we started to get ready for the test, and I was like, I have to get over this. This is my hump. Like, I have to get over this. If I get over this, I'll be all right. Right. And so she was like, okay, bet. But I was like, also, too, I really, because I was a coach, because I held a certain level of status at the rink that I'm at, like, I'm not just like a coach skater. I was a coach skater who was also a manager of the skating school division of the ice rink, you know? Um, and so I'm supposed to be, I guess, some pro, right? And at that time I always felt like I was a real practicing pro. I mean, and you should always be in practice of being a pro, but I was definitely an early practicing pro. um, and so working on this low level test, right? I'm like embarrassed to be like out here working on this little test, and then I got to take it in front of like peers, like I put my students on for this test. Like, I've already put on students for this test and I'm about to go and take it now, girl. And I felt still unstable in my legs and my carriage and like being able to skate well. Like, and then at that point, 4 years ago, I was probably at like the first year of me losing weight. So my body is shifting and my mind is shifting, So it was just a lot. It was a lot. Um, So at that point, um, as I was getting closer, I felt really stuck around certain things. And my coach was like, you just need to come in every day. You just need to come in every day, and she told me this pretty early on, but like, come in every day. Even if you're on the ice for only 15 to 20 minutes, like, get on every single day. She's like, I know you're there. You pretty much halfway live at the rink. Because I was putting in 60 hours a week easily at that time. She's like, nope, still make sure you come in on your days off or go skate somewhere else or do something. And I was like, sounds like a lot. Sounds like a lot. But I was like, all right, okay, I'll do it, right? And because one of the things that I did, even when I in my heavier years, I did the half marathon, and it was the same sort of thing. Like, I just needed to show up every day, and the moments like, and show up every day, like show up every day, right? Um, so I understood. I understood the assignment, and I did, and like, that has like a deeper, longer story that like the week before I still didn't get this one pattern, and like I, had a whole breakdown and unlocked it, probably days before the test. But if I wasn't skating every day, who knows when I would have gotten it, right? Because I was like, I'm coming in every day and it's still not happening. What's going on? But it happened, and I passed the test. Also, something to note, though, about the test, I didn't take the test at my rink. I took it at a rink that was like an hour and a half away, so that I could just be a skater. Like, I just wanted to, like, not that nobody would know me, because people know me, bro. Wherever I go, people know me. And it sounds audacious, but it's real, okay? But at least it wasn't too crazy, you know. It wasn't like I've been watching this kid grow up from like freaking 5 to 12, and they think that I'm some grade A skater and I'm taking this baby test. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't have all of those like thoughts in my head. It's so funny to think about like the things that hold you back, bro. The things that hold you back. Um, all right. To keep going with the day. So as I came in, as I was at the rink, and I was like, okay, I need to practice this jump because this jump is this current new thing that I need to get over. I'm like, once I get over this jump, and I'm doing it, working primarily on it, like at this other rink, because I have that same sort of what is the word that I keep looking for? I keep trying to use it. Anonymity. 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 Anyways, is there another word for this? What is a synonym? Uh, anon- anonym, anonymity. Anyways, anonymity. Anyways, anonymous. Wanting to be somewhat anonymous. Okay. So, I was like, but remember, Shante, like recall what you did before. Recall a time that you succeeded before. And I was like, remember that test used to be this jump, right? That test used to be this jump. This jump was one of the last things that I was working on when I was at that rink, right? My old rink. And I had landed it, a number of times there. Um, so, and I had quit for a while before I went back to skating. So it kind of was just like that, fictional plague is what it is. But, so, anyways, I was like, you did this before. And like, what's so funny, why I laugh so hard about this, like, moves in the field test that I had to take at another rink. And I took the second test, the next test after that, which is like the third test on the tier at that other rink too. And I thought about taking the fourth test somewhere else, but whole COVID thing and whatever. But now I'm on this fourth test. Or no, then I was on this fourth test and I did take it at the rink that I skate at. And that had a whole bunch of levels of like overcoming that and blah, 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 people seeing me skate. But it's like a high enough level test to make me feel like I look competitive while practicing. You know what I mean? Even if there are a couple of people who are working on it at the same time, like they ain't skating it like I'm skating it. So so that's how I feel about this jump. Like as soon as I land this jump, once I'm started working on like the next jumps that come after that, like, oh no problem. Like I don't mind falling in front of other people, like especially if I'm going for something that looks dope. And like this jump, it looks dope anyways, but I want to look dope and be landing it. You know what I mean? But anyways, with the test beforehand, right? I passed that test now. I'm working on the fifth of eight, right? Um, and it's one thing that's so funny is that people really compliment me on my edge work now. Like I actually started to like it and like be good at it. And like even though I know I can be like better and all that stuff, like I unlocked another level to myself. I unlocked another level to myself, right? Now I know that I look good when I do certain things on the ice edge quality wise because I like practiced and I focused, you know? Um, and I learned to like it. So, anyways, breaking up with complacency. So today I was like on this ice. My goal, I know I'd be nervous sometimes. So I just be like, if you could just go for it 3 times, you all right? Like that was my number last week actually. Last week I said, if I can go for it 3 times, like for real, go for it. Then okay, you tried. Like not only you tried, but like you did what you came here to do. So today, and last week I took some hard falls, but I was like, all right. But I had some good like revelations around doing it. Um, anyways, I'm just thinking about me doing the jump in my program. um, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll try to show my coach. Um, so, anyways, I gotta wrap this up soon. So, today I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to, if I can go for it 3 times, that was my number again. If I can go for it 3 times, then, and I was like, the first fall, I was like, okay, not a bad fall, not a bad fall, cool beans. The second fall, I had like jammed my wrist a little bit more, and I was just like, bruh, you can't be doing all of that. You can't be jamming like that. Like you're gonna have to move out the way because it hurt. I said, ooh, ooh, ow, ow. And so then I cracked myself up. And so then I was like, all right, let me do one more because I felt like I'm getting all the way around. Like, just focus on keeping like certain things, like your hips underneath you, all that stuff. Make sure you like don't lean, like make sure you kick the bread, like all these little notes, right? And I did another one and the fall wasn't so hard. I was like, all right, I could do a couple more. Like, if the falls are like this and not too bad, like, I can do a couple more. Like, that's fine. So I probably ended up doing like 7 or 8. And each one got like progressively good, I would say. Was landing backwards for all of them. My takeoff was getting better. I felt like I started to stretch more through my legs, which was good. Because like once I did like the first 3 or 4, I was like, oh, I feel a little scrunched up. So I was able to stretch more through my legs. I even like really got one like on one foot a little bit and then like couldn't hold on to it, or I was just a little too far back in the blade or something like that. But getting her done, right? And I was just like so proud of myself. I was like, okay, bud, you came out here, you worked on your stuff, you did a lesson, made some money, and you went for these jumps, bruh. Breaking up with complacency, that was a conscious decision that went step by step, and then also too, making the decision to still come to the ring, like not skipping out on it, even though I was late to the first one. I said, you know what, instead of doing the first one, let's still go back at it and do it the second one. And sometimes you need to, like, not everybody has that flexibility. Today I have that flexibility, so I was able to do that. But today I didn't want to take 30 minutes as enough, right? And me living in a comfort zone, before I would have taken 30 minutes as enough. Oh, I did my work. I showed up. I moved my legs. I did a jump or two. But did you grow? Did you do more than what like you expected to do? Right? And even like running through my program, I didn't even think that I was going to run through it as much as I did today. And really trying to make sure I'm putting the jumps in there, because another moment of like breaking up with complacency is keeping like working on this program without putting the jumps in there. And so I'm like, no, Ashante, do good, do better, always do good, do better. And so I'm like, okay, let's put the jumps in. I don't have my first jump in there yet, but I do a downgraded jump, I guess. I do a jump there. I put a different jump in its place. Let's say it like that. I put a different jump in its place to kind of still mimic it. And kept going through it, tried to clear up the footwork a little bit more. And yesterday, my growth that I wanted to see was me adding in my lets with my loop and with the Salchow. And I got a lot closer to that today. I did do the lets and the loop together, and I did do like the waltz with the Salchow with the footwork. And I did go for the lets a couple of times, but I didn't cleanly do a lets a couple of times. But I did run through it an extra time, got my lets and loop in with the rest of the footwork, my twizzles, all of that. So exciting, right? Did way more than what I thought. So that was a layer of breaking up with complacency. What else did I want to say about today? I went to go see my aunt, my great aunt, because like even this morning I was thinking about her. I need to visit her, need to talk to her, you know. And I did like a drive-by visit that was like an hour, and came home, and I was really compelled to do this live about complacency, and even like journaling about what I was going to do when it came to this live was important. And sharing the story that I did about today and breaking that, I feel great about. So even after I get off of this live, I'm going to go and work on some of the jewelry ideas that I had and continue to practice not holding myself back. Like my mantra that I'm like really focusing on is I'm going forward, 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 and for it, right? I'm going for it. I'm going forward, right? I'm going for it. I'm going forward, right? Both. So those are my mantras. I'm going for it. I'm going for it. So yeah. So yeah, that was pretty much mostly of what I wanted to say. I think there's just a couple more things. I made a note about doing what needs to be done. And I think I meant like still getting done what needs to be done. So instead of like letting go of not skating today, to just replace it with like going around the lake. I was like, no, I'm still going to go around the lake. And something else that I really want to do tonight, make sure I stretch, right? I need to be growing always and always, right? But it's consistent. It's not settling. It's not settling with this is enough. I worked out. I made it to the rink. I got more of a workout than what I would have if I would have made it at the original time that I normally like to make it to the earlier session. I got a whole half an hour or 45 minutes on top of that. Half an hour on top of that. So like, oh, that's enough. I don't have to do anything today. No, to continue to grow and to continue to be better, even when I show up on the ice, I need to do some stretching tonight. I could even do some extension work if you really want to know, but like, I can really go for some stretching tonight. So am I going to get it done? Maybe it's only 10 minutes tonight, but maybe that's all I need to practice getting in practice of doing these things. And practice breaking up with complacency because it's a consistent practice. And marrying bravery, marrying courage, right? Aligning with that divine timing, giving you the money that you need, which also is a reflection of how I practice breaking up with complacency. I already said that, but I just wanted y'all to feel me again. I wanted to feel it again. I'm just like, honestly, I'm super grateful. Like, I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, we. And she gave me so many compliments. She was just saying, like, thank you for being so patient. And I'm like, this is easy. Like, this is easy. This is easy. I love that my job is easy. And it's not easy just because it's an easy job to do. It's easy because I've practiced it so many times. It's easy because I know what needs to be done because I've done this in practice so many times. Okay, anyways, I'm just feeling myself, bro. I'm feeling myself in this energy. We're gonna wrap this up. So, last two things, I guess. Three things, I think. Let me make sure I put that. So I don't forget. Okay. One of the advice notes that I would say, too, which I got from my friend last week when I was telling her about me breaking up with complacency and her kind of being on that same track, but just calling it something different. Um, but she was talking about you never know how many tries you are away from something, right? So say that you've been practicing like a free throw, right? Let's talk basketball. Say that you've been practicing your free throw and the accuracy of your free throws, like making 90% of your free throws, right? Um, or just making a free throw. I don't know. But say that you've been having issues with it. Like you never know how many more tries that your body needs, your spirit needs, the moment needs for you to break into that like a 90 percentile, right? Because maybe you was just at like you missing 2 every 10 shots, right? And maybe you did it once. You maybe like made 10 out of 10 once or twice, but it's like it averages around 8, maybe sometimes 7. But if you do it so many times, it's like those little tiny intricate um, insights that you have that unlocks the potential that you already see possible. So the other thing that I wanted to leave you guys with was failure not being an option. So, in all of these scenarios, but the tangible scenario of losing weight, like, mind you, I'm, getting back to like, okay, we're losing more weight, but I don't have to do it with the same type of intensity or not intensity. Um, I don't have to break past the same barriers from before when it comes to losing weight. But in the beginning of the big weight loss journey, it was about failure not being an option. Like, no matter how many times I would fall off the horse, I told myself, or no matter how many times that I could even foresee, or not even foresee, any times that I could even imagine that I would fall off the horse going forward, or anytime that it would happen, my intention was to always get back on. And sometimes, like when you fall, you need to be like, assess your wounds for a second before you can jump back on, but always jump back on. And that's kind of like one thing that I for sure learned from skating, right? I just needed to start applying it in all the other areas outside of skating. Like, mm-mm, mm-mm. Like after I told you after that second jump that I had to squeeze my wrist a little bit. I said, "Ooh, how hurt are you? How jammed is you? Like, are you all right? Can you do it?" Are you fine? Yeah, I'm fine. All right, well, then get up and do it again. Get up and do it again. You good? Get up and do it again. You good? You all right? You need like 2 seconds? You need some water? Okay, do that. You ready now? You good? All right, go. And that's the kind of coach I am. Like, that's who I am with myself, and that's the kind of coach that I am. So it's kind of like just applying all of those things into your other facets of life. Um, so yeah, back then failure not being an option. And even now when it comes to not only like achieving the things that I want to do on the ice, because I think that's so funny, audacious. I'm like, because I think that's easy. It's not that it's easy. I'm just better at, I'm more practiced at that practice. Okay. But when it comes to breaking into this other echelon of success and bringing in money and finances and supporting other businesses and finances, or financing things and having my own, like, I have to remind myself that failure isn't an option, right? Every day. Like every day I have to remind myself that failure isn't an option. And no matter if I do fall off, like yesterday I didn't feel like I did as much as I could have done. But today I was like, that's just not an option. It's not an option. So whatever I need to do to allow myself the space and the capacity to keep doing what I need to do, I need to do that. If it's in my control, I need to do that. I think some people need to look up the Serenity Prayer. That's something that I'm going to read after I get off of this live. And the other thing that I wanted to say was be kind to yourself. Right? Be kind to yourself. So it's easy to judge yourself like, oh, you're lazy or you don't do much. No, you're not good enough or you don't do much. Like, really start to listen to your inner voice a little bit and see what it's saying. And then realize if that's something that you would want anybody to actually fucking say to you. Because sometimes you need to break up with that old mindset of like, you ain't about to just keep cussing at me like that. I felt like I used to, back when I was bigger, I used to be like super hard on myself all of the time. So it's not uncommon for me to have to deal with that part of myself every blue moon. But it is important that I continue to do the work. I'm getting distracted because my mom just arrived and I want to wrap up this live. So thank you. I want you to check into the numbers 444. And that's all. Because she's about to start calling me. So I'll see you guys later. Read up on that. Maybe I'll talk about it next time. Maybe I'll drop it in the comments box. Let me see. Do I have time? No, that's it. Did you do that? All right. Take care, everybody. I hope that this was good, and I hope this reaches the ones that need it, and I hope you like it. So let me know down below if you did. Let me know if you just want to hear thoughts and convos and see if it may help you. I'll share my story if it helps. Okay. Bye.